5 years ago, I made a short thriller called Negatives. It's about accepting and owning the past in order to let it go and move forward. What I didn't realize at the time was that I would eventually need to apply that lesson to the film itself. I wrote and directed Negatives as my grad film in film school in 2021. We finished it in 2022 before sending it around the festival circuit. We were lucky enough for it to be screened in several festivals in 3 different countries. And while having your film screened in front of a live audience is a little bit terrifying, it was still a really rewarding experience. So then, what happened next? Well, I finished uni, got a full-time job, and didn't make a single short film. And that wasn't due to a lack of trying. All the while, Negatives sat on the shelf, and I didn't know how or if I wanted to publish it. Negatives is about a dark and confronting issue. It's about a film lab technician, Shay, who begins to suspect one of her clients is displaying predatory behaviour in his photography. However, these images force her to come to terms with a past coercive relationship. As such, I began to wonder if it even did this issue justice or if it contributed in a helpful or meaningful way. I also worried that people might misinterpret the intention behind it, so it continued to sit on the shelf. About a year ago, I read The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, and it planted an idea at the back of my mind that has been growing ever since. Sharing your art is just as important as making it for your creative journey. Rubin argues that irrespective of whether anyone ever sees it, sharing your art reinforces the habit of trusting your work despite the misgivings you may have. There are plenty of areas I could have done better on Negatives. I can't watch it today without cringing at the creative decisions and mistakes that I made on it. But at the end of the day, it was a student film. And I was a student learning. And in a way, I will always be a student learning, but 5 years later, I'm just a different student learning different things. Something I have learnt recently is that timing is a funny thing. I hadn't posted Negatives yet because it just didn't feel right. I needed the time to remind myself of a few things. Firstly, to begin making things again that I am truly passionate about. Although I'm only just getting started, I've recently begun making and posting videos online about filmmaking and cinema, and it's finally feeling like I've got some energy and momentum towards making this into something sustainable. Secondly, seeing filmmakers my age and younger, like Carrie Barker and Kane Parsons, find success on the big screen has been incredibly inspiring, but it's also been an important reminder to just put your work out there, like the Creative Act implores. Because I think they've found success on the big screen by first finding it on the small one. In publishing Negatives, I'm not attempting to change my life overnight. In fact, I'd be perfectly happy if just one person saw it. But instead, I'm doing it as part of the act of closing the loop that this film has had in my mind for so long. Now, with all of this in mind, there's actually an uncanny parallel between these lessons and the resolution of Negatives. Shay finds closure from her traumatic past in the act of pinning up a photo from that time. Because sometimes the act of letting something go begins with accepting it as it is. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to watch the short film Negatives, please follow the link in the description, and also please consider subscribing as I do regular long and short form videos on niche cinema. Anyways, hope to see you there.